Okay, hello everyone. Let's make sure that we got an audio check. Can I get a thumbs up from our live stream team? Let us know that you're hearing us, hopefully. Thank you for joining Car Week 2026. Very exciting stuff. This is our longest tenured Octopus engagement for the driver community that we've ever done, right? Way back in early 2018 when we first got started. Hey, let's do something fun that isn't just, we used to do a wheel spin was the very first thing we did, just like for our 15 drivers, basically. But hey, let's do something that honors not only our drivers, but the tools that they use to make a living and that we care about. That's our vehicle. So we invented Car Week. That spawned years and years of contests, and we've had different versions of the live stream. But in the past year, if you didn't know, the gentlemen behind me, Juan and Jonathan over here, are the co-hosts of our now reoccurring segment, the J&J Pit Stop, which takes the place of every quarter one of the Hustlers Hours live streams that we do. So we do the car triage. We've helped drivers with real-time car issues, and we just did it recently. So we thought we'd do something a little more passive for the viewing audience here, which is to learn some tips and tricks about quick car repairs. Jonathan and Juan are our experts. I'll let them introduce themselves again in a moment, their accolades, that sort of thing. But in the end, we went around to our own coworkers in the office here and we said, hey, if you've got a vehicle that's got a little bit of surface level damage, bring it in, we'll repair it for free, and we'll walk through the process of it. And Jonathan will share some of the information about where he got this equipment, where you can find it, the cost behind it. And then Juan's skill that he brings is the DIY stuff. He kind of counters the professional recommendation with the sort of, here's what you can find underneath your kitchen sink probably to do the same thing. So the professional and the not amateur, but the non-profesh. So nonetheless, we've got our first car up. This is actually queued up. We'll talk to Jennifer in a moment, our coworker that brought it in. If you are watching the live stream, thank you for spending some time. Hopefully this is interesting enough. Jonathan, I'm logged in on his, has the chat where I'll be sharing relevant links, but right now is the sign-in sheet. If you are watching the live stream, thanks for spending some time. I'm going to pay you. I'm going to give you bonus points into your driver account for jumping in here. So if you look in the chat of WebEx, there's a link that I just shared. Click on it. You might have to copy paste that link. I get that feedback a lot. You may not click right out from the WebEx app, but if you copy paste it, put it into a browser, sign your name, give me till the end of the week when we do all of the Car Week points. Hey, you get a couple bonus points for even checking out this live stream. You don't have to stick around the whole time, but you're about to learn some stuff. All right, I am done talking. We'll get this going. Oh, sorry, there is one more thing. While we're doing this, there's going to be a lot of downtime. There's probably not it's fun to explain about covering up a scratch. If you do have like actual car repair questions, feel free to throw them into the chat. I'll be paying attention to that. I'll ask these guys and maybe they can give you some throwaway advice, but we're not going to do the open mic Q&A sort of back and forth triaging like super specific stuff unless we have enough time at the end and that sort of thing. But nonetheless, these people have to get back to work. Jennifer does, John and Juan, they actually have real jobs. I'm going to step off to the side. If you see the name Jonathan pop up in the chat, that's me using his account. Okay? All right, let's get started here. Careful about pulling this off. Obviously, you can take it with you. I'll do the camera work, but can you introduce yourselves and just tell us, again, like your qualifications? Who are you? What do you do at Octopus? And then why are you a car expert?
Yeah, I'm Jonathan. I've owned a lot of cars throughout my life, but what I do at Octopus, I run a lot of your advertising that shows on the tower, and all the content as well that shows up on the tower. All of that goes through me. I make sure it runs fine, that all the riders are happy, and everyone sees what they're supposed to see.
Excellent. And Juan?
What's up? My name's Juan. I'm part of the support team, so whenever you submit any kind of inquiry, I'm one of the guys that's answering those questions for you. But then outside of that, I have a bad habit of getting my hands on things that I have no business getting involved with, which is what led me to cars and doing a lot of this DIY stuff Alex was mentioning.
Mm-hmm. And I'll share the link, but if you check out the actual Car Week webpage that we've been sharing, all of the like relevant links in the, I think I called it the auto body, whatever it is, were sourced by these guys. It's like their top links around the internet to find equipment, to find pro tips, YouTube channels, all that kind of stuff. So check out the webpage. I'll post that in the chat in just a second. We're sort of doing this without May. It's the last thing. May is always my web chat help. Audio is a bit faint. All right, so we got to talk a little louder. We'll turn up the gain on this as much as we can here. Hopefully that helps a little bit. Sorry about that. We'll get closer though. Okay, let's get started. I'm going to bring this in. So, whoops. Second. That's cool. Smart video. Turned off my video because it sensed I dropped something. Okay, all right. So as we get started here, yeah, come on in if you don't mind, Jennifer. I forgot to introduce our car. Oh, I got to really turn this down to get you in. Okay, I don't want us to fall. Will you introduce yourself? Tell us, what you do at T-Mobile, right? Because an interesting fact is that, yes, while we operate Octopus, we're under the T-Mobile umbrella, and we share our office with other people. Isn't that right?
Yes, that's correct. Well, hi everybody. My name is Jennifer, and I work in HR here at T-Mobile as a recruiter. And I'm excited to see how the virtual shows.
Perfect. Yeah, and we're going to jump into that in a second. But
Yes.
we do like to offer, like knowledge and life advice to our drivers that go beyond like their professional knowledge is, rideshare driving and maximizing their earnings and stuff like that. In HR, right? We had a lot of feedback from drivers like about maybe the transfer of, right? Like some drivers aspire to get out of rideshare and do other stuff. Can you give some like positive outlook on somebody that kind of hesitates to submit a resume to a corporate company that, oh no, I only have rideshare on there. Are you looking at that and considering it as something that's worth lifetime experience?
Yes, absolutely. So as a recruiter, a lot of times what I like to recommend to our hiring managers is we're looking for people, not necessarily, so I support our retail teams. So anyone who works in a store. However, we're not necessarily always looking for salespeople. We are looking for people with transferable skills. So keep that in mind when you're applying to any sort of positions. Just because it says, sales, and you may not necessarily have sales experience. With sales comes customer service, which you all do as you are doing your drives with your customers on a daily basis. So transferable skills, just really own into things that you've done in the past, communication, organizational skills, things of that nature that can translate to a job in the corporate world.
Excellent. Good. Well, thank you for explaining that, because again, I try and encourage that understanding from our drivers a lot.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring it in here. I'm going to put this microphone so we can hear what's going on. If you guys can walk us through what you're seeing and what drivers should understand about this process.
So guys,
Sort of do these first.
I gotcha.
actually this is perfect. We have 3 different types of exterior damage here. This is full paint loss. It goes down to the metal. This is a little concerning because this we have to clean up and make sure that it doesn't start rusting. That's a big concern. Here it's just a scratch. This I can feel with my fingernails, so it will need some touch-up paint. But this here, this just looks like paint transfer. So this is just on top of the paint, and it's not actually digging into anything. So she hasn't really lost much here. So first off, this should be the easiest. This should be polished out. I have a mechanical polisher here. You guys don't need one of these. These are expensive. I think this one was like $500, excluding the battery. This right here, you can take hand polish that you can find at like Advanced Auto Parts, even Walmart, Target, and then a microfiber cloth, and then all you do is you cloth. Because you're doing it by hand, it will take way longer. This just speeds it up so we can show you more of a change without wasting your time. We'll be here for like an hour if we did it by hand. But other than that, I'm going to show you guys how to get this off first. Juan was nice enough to use a microfiber cloth and some cleaning solution to just get this clean enough so that we were so that there's no like dust or anything like that.
What's the name of the bond?
No, this is just screen cleaner.
Yeah, yeah.
We would recommend something like an actual car cleaner instead. But the reason is we want to remove as much dirt as possible so that when we go ahead and polish, it doesn't actually stick onto the paint itself, onto the pad here. My mechanical polisher, I brought along 3 pads. This one's the hardest one. And I brought a softer pad and then finally a finishing pad. I don't think I'll be using this one today. We'll probably just step down to here. First, we want to cut off all the extra stuff. Then we want to refine it so it's shiny again. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna put some cutting polish on top of the pad. $50. And then what I want to do is I want to gently spread this around the area. I'm going to set this to a low speed setting. Let's get it nice and worked in here.
And so you're saying that this could be replicated with your hand?
Yeah, no. So this, everything I'm doing here can be replicated by hand. It'll just take longer.
Mm-hmm. Literal little elbow grease, as they call it.
So we're gonna speed it up now that once we started spreading it out. We're gonna work, we're gonna wrap, keep it moving, you don't want to build up too much steam.
Now that's going away like really quick. Is it an all or nothing thing? Like if you went over and it was still there, would you be like, I got to do this again? Or, oh no, it's not working.
Steps, right? You just want to figure out how much you're cutting into it.
Uh-huh.
Because if you see here, we've lost paint. I don't want to do too much damage. I don't know how thin this layer of paint is, right?
See.
Normally we would measure the paint before we start. But luckily this is a Toyota. Toyotas are pretty okay. It hasn't been repainted before. This hasn't, you can just go ahead and start doing this. You'll have to really work it in there or apply a lot of pressure in one spot for a while before you burn into the paint.
And while he's doing that, can you describe like, why would it pull away the paint? Like, what's the texture of that foam pad? I didn't feel it, but like, is it?
I'm always thinking about it kind of like sanding paper in a way. So with you start applying more and more pressure, what we're doing is just lowering the actual layers of this paint, which is because that paint transfer has now become a new layer once that's touched the vehicle. So we want to chip away at it to bring it back to its original level is essentially the goal here.
Yeah. But you could over buff, I guess.
Could, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. And then I kind of missed the beginning of your explanation, but like, how did you decide which goop to start with there?
So I started
Show us
with which starts which is a little more aggressive, which means I have to watch out a little more. You can see that there's still something here.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily when I run my fingernail over, I can't really feel it, which means it's just baked in the paint. So which means we just gotta loosen this up and get that layer off. So this cutting polish hasn't been doing much enough. Either I can use it for longer and just start more heat and burn it through a little more. I don't want to do that. So I'm going to switch to something a little more aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
This just has pieces of grit in here that are a little bigger than this cutting polish and a little sharper. So we're going to start using that on the same pad. Because this is stiff and bad. All of this. Again, we're going to spread it out, mark it in, and then go ahead and polish.
Can we hold this for a second so I can respond in the chat?
Right. This polish doesn't spread as much, so we'll save this for a second pass. Let's start with this first area.
That's called the hero shot right there. Look at that. Yeah. And you use this on your own vehicles?
Ew, all the time.
Yeah. And list off a couple of the cars that you're talking about because Jonathan drives some high quality vehicles.
Bunch of Porsches, Safaris, Lamborghinis. We have a Porsche here today. So.
So yeah, if it's good enough for his Porsche, I think we'll all be willing to buff it out. How's this making you feel, Jennifer? Are you happy with
Yes, it's probably been about 10 years since I've had that, so I'm very happy right now.
Yeah. Okay. So oh, sorry.
Very good.
that's a good point, is that the things that we're talking about right now, yeah, you can live with.
Yeah.
But when you're a professional driver, suddenly you need like some sort of remedy that happens right away. So this is a good lesson in not dragging your feet, because 10 years to, I don't know, what have we done in 3 minutes, John?
Yes, literally. I'm like still in awe.
Yeah.
Looks like some of this is a little more stubborn. What I have here is a piece of magic eraser. I love this. This is great. This gets more of the stubborn paint transfers off. Keep in mind, after you use this, you will need to polish because it will leave a slightly rougher surface. So let's start.
Say what it's called again?
Just a piece of magic eraser.
Oh,
Yeah, you gotta try, grab that right. And we'll see if we can take some of this off.
okay. So magic eraser, not like formally a auto repair thing, but
A lot of
not something that risks
stuff like this.
damage.
I like using a bit of water sometimes, but it's harder to see how that scratch is going when you use it.
Mhm. A couple people in the chat, or at least one I saw, saying, "Are you available for hire?" I mean, I know.
I wish most of the time I do this just fun. I like doing only my own parts, just because I know if I mess something up, it's on mine and I'm the only one to blame. But a lot of this skill you can learn online. It's on YouTube. It's quick. It's easy, and it's something that's good to know. So I'm just thinking as much of this as possible.
Okay, and you're right. This is a hard effort, and you do it to your whole car. Let's talk about like practical. I can't do it myself. What should someone expect for like a good quality detail versus, mid-tier, like what pricing wise?
Depends on the area. Stuff like this is going to cost a little more. This is in the area of paint correction. Normally, a detail just entails cleaning your car and maybe a little bit of the touch up here and there. So this will cost normally a few $100, depending on where you live. For someone who works out of a van, if you want a nice shop and something like that, it's going to be higher. It's going to be over $1,000.
Wow. Okay, perfect. $1,000, but look at you coming in, swooping in. First person to respond to my message this morning. Oh, look, hey, we got more people out here. Got an audience behind us now. I didn't even realize. Welcome. Are you in need of vehicle repair as well?
Vehicle at home, I need repair.
Sorry, I didn't think to.
God, it's simple thing like that.
Mhm.
It's sad, yeah. Oh, yeah, like yesterday.
Daunting.
Yeah. Oh, you good.
What's that? Oh yeah. Oh.
Right.
All right. You just hold this for a second. There we go. We're good. We have one more vehicle that might show up in a second. Now, Juan, we're seeing these repairs done. Is there any sort of like, I don't know, routine maintenance is there preventative, like scratching is what I'm trying to get to. Like, I know you wax your car. Does that actually help stop scratches, or I don't know, what's your best advice on preventing scratches? Is there a way to just be a good driver, guys?
If I'm not mistaken, I believe wax does help with just adding a slight protective layer. I'm not sure that it's going to save you from anything deep. One of the best ways is looking into something called PPF. But there you've got to balance the cost of that versus the worth of the vehicle, I guess, or
The Porsche on the front has PPF. Like you can see the layer on the front of the hood.
On
the show.
Where's that?
Blue.
Oh, the blue one. All right, yeah. Let's walk down to his Porsche real fast. He's got PPF on it. He said, so we'll show that real fast. Do a little. Oh yeah. Perfect.
PPF essentially acts as a screen protector for your car. That's really what it is. It's a layer of film that helps protect the paint from any chips. And sometimes it's been seen to help with like that kind of stuff, paint transfer from a small side swipe. Anything serious, kind of is what it is, but definitely helps a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if you can actually, yeah. So you see this line right here?
Mm-hmm.
Clear line.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
got the PPF on the front end of the hood.
So yeah, I see. It's
Yeah.
like when you get a new TV and you gotta like peel off that little.
Yep. He's got it going across the front end of the vehicle because all the rock chips are gonna primarily hit right there.
Wow, that is some like. I guess this is a very nice car. Not, I guess, but like,
No, so
I couldn't even imagine like thinking that far ahead to like prevent scratches.
Yeah.
That's
So for a car like this, like obviously that's a must.
Uh-huh.
Sometimes I know certain dealers will offer it like from the dealership as you're getting your vehicle, they'll make sure to have that on there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really depends on how much you're willing to invest into your vehicle.
Do you know if he put that on himself, or is that something that like a like an auto body shop has to do?
I don't know if he's done it himself. I know personally, I would go to an auto body shop for that to get, especially any wrap shop can help you out with that.
Okay.
At the end of the day, that is what the process is, same as installing any kind of wrap.
Interesting.
But knowing Jonathan, he might have just done it himself.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised.
That sounds about right. Let's get a hero shot of his vehicle. Pretty cool. He drives to work in this. This is just his commuter car. Silly. Nice.
Yeah.
Looks good. Okay, good. Good to know.
Yep.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, if there are any chips in there, once he takes that film off, he's probably fine.
Is that what they're doing? Like on the windshields, the NASCAR drivers, they rip off the windshield protector. Kind of the same thing, probably.
Same idea.
Yeah. All right, good. Well, hopefully, I mean, I'm learning a lot of stuff. I know this is pretty straightforward in concept, but I'm pretty happy with how this is going. Even if this is our only car that shows up, a couple other people said they would, but it might just be sort of redundant at this point.
And here I can see this is actual paint loss. It's paint loss. A lot of this is just really, really deep scratching.
Yeah.
That's not down to the metal, but it's too deep to actually polish out. Or
Right.
it cause more damage. Have
Yeah.
you seen those cars on the like parked on the street, right? That looks like they're missing a spot of paint, right? That it looks like the skin is not. That's clear coat. So on top of every colored piece of panel, there is clear paint that's just UV protecting that paint from peeling. Because paint is naturally very not UV resistant. So that's what the clear coat does. Just protects against it. But that also still breaks down over time. So the big concern there is like, hey, if it starts peeling like that, I don't want to get to that point where it'll cause that to happen before.
Got it.
I just want to take off as much as I can, right? Without hurting the longevity of the car.
And what are you working with now? What's this?
This is just some touch-up paint. I love this brand. What is it called? Dr. Color Chip. It's a little bit on the pricier side, but they make some very good kits and they're super easy to use. I just happen to have some Toyota Black on hand. What I'm going to do, some of this metal chips here, I'm just going to touch them up and then I'm going to level them out. This is always good to do. Even if you can't get the perfect level out, you want to protect all these metal spots just because they'll start rusting. And you don't want that to happen because that's going to cause more damage. It's going to be more expensive to fix later on. So this 5-minute process, you can do this without the polishing part, will allow you make it look a lot better. So here, once that dries, you'll see a big improvement, especially over video. Let's touch up some of these other chips. some of the bigger stuff here.
You don't know where you can't use the back end. No, I probably could. Now that you're saying that. Oh. Of course. Thank you.
Did he have it facing himself?
I've been kind of just like, yeah, that made sense that I didn't think about.
I'm a good driver, I promise. It's everybody else. It's not me.
Everybody, yeah, yeah, exactly.
All right, so we're gonna give that 5 to 10 minutes to slowly dry, and we'll go ahead and level it off as best as we can. But look at that. That's already a massive improvement. The goal always is improvement, not perfection. I'm going to repeat that a million times today. What you don't want is to chase after perfection just because you might be so precise that you're going to cause damage.
Mm.
The professionals are the ones that should chase after perfection. You guys want your car to look great from a glance because that's all passengers are really going to do. They're going to give it a glance before they come in. They're not going to stick their face right to the paint and figure out if you have like 2 scratches. No, you just want them to be like, oh, this car's well taken care of as they're getting in.
Mm-hmm. Maybe I missed it, but is this preventing rust as well? Like, is it going to protect?
So you'll see this right here covered up a lot of metal chips. You'll see that's okay. But if it's shiny, if it's silvery looking underneath, you've gone to the metal and you really want to touch that up. So you guys can go to a dealer and grab a touch-up pen. This is a little more advanced, but I do recommend it. These kits are amazing.
Say the name of it again.
Color chip.
Okay.
Because they come with this little bottle here, which is a sealant. So it's basically a little bit of a clear coat mixed with something that levels off the paint really well. So once it dries off, we're going to rub a little bit of this on to make sure that touch-up paint lasts and that it stays on there for a while.
Perfect.
Something to keep in mind too, like Jonathan mentioned before, if that color he has happens to be Toyota black, if you go on any manufacturer's website right now to try to customize a vehicle, let's say like Honda, because I've seen it, you'll see that they have like 3 different versions of white, but that white isn't going to be the same as Ford's like Oxford white or whatever white Toyota uses. You want to make sure you get the one that actually matches your paint code for your vehicle.
So, but does Toyota sell their own version of the kit, or you have to find out what their like color code is and then find it with his toolkit?
So your color code is typically on the window sticker of your car,
Oh.
Or you can look it up by your VIN. Sometimes it's underneath the hood, sometimes it's in the trunk. You'll just have to search for your car specifically. But it's typically a color code for this one, Toyota. I believe it's this one's like Toyota 202.
So they share it at least. They're not trying to protect like Apple won't give you certain things or whatever. You got to go through their repair.
Yeah, you can definitely find it.
Okay.
Yeah.
But so another like fact that I just learned, the color of your car is memorialized with all of your other stuff, like your VIN number and your whatever. It's like one of the prominent, I don't know, car piece of information. It's cool to learn. Like, I don't know, it's black.
If you guys didn't know, I think Porsche has over 200 different colors of blue that have historically been available.
Wow.
They still sell touch-up paint for every single one of them. So.
Oh, like all the way back to when they first started. This is really helpful.
Thank you.
Are people like sitting in a meeting right now? Like, where's Jennifer?
You meant to turn the camera off? Okay.
Okay, and then if there's anyone new that's joining and see the number keep kind of popping up and going down, but if anyone's new, I just put the sign-in sheet. There are points available for attending this live stream. You check the chat feature on WebEx. There's a little chat feature, and I put the link in there. You can either click on it. You might have to copy paste it into a web browser. But at the end of the week, when Car Week wraps up, I'll throw some bonus points into your account for joining us on those live streams. So thanks for that. And if you're curious what we're doing here, we're just giving little tips and tricks about, scratch repair is the primary thing right now, but Jonathan has shared some links with us. Juan shared some links with us about places to find all sorts of, DIY equipment to keep your car running, not just engine wise, but like pride wise. I know that you guys do care about that, but like we hear the feedback sometimes like, not so specifically like how do I repair my car, but like, the hesitancy of working with a mechanic or, getting screwed over. Like I'm good at driving. I'm not good at like my car knowledge or whatever. It's amazing how often Jonathan's encouragement is, I promise it's available for you. Or more to the point, when talking to a mechanic, they're not as sinister as you imagine. Like just tell them what you're looking for and they will do it for you. So again, here.
Like, oh my God, where did that go?
Literally, I'm like,
All you see is just a death.
Wow.
anybody can do this.
Clip it.
Yeah.
That's
I believe that anybody can. It just takes a little bit of time to learn. You just have to take your time because you can make mistakes that are very expensive. But if you take your time, you don't get too aggressive with anything, right? You're not using sandpaper or whatnot. There's not much that you can get in trouble with. It's pretty easy.
Yeah, and to that point again, I just posted the webpage for Car Week. At the bottom of that are these resource links where he's getting all this stuff from. The Chris Sticks web series is really awesome. It's a guy like Jonathan that's got an entire published web series that goes over all of this stuff and then goes a lot deeper too. But check out our event page because if you're wondering like, well, how do I get all of this stuff? It all comes from these links that we shared. So go check that out. Oh, Jonathan, look right behind the door handle. You missed a little buffing back there.
I put that there.
Oh,
I
okay.
reminded myself, but
Okay.
I'm going to cut into some of this a little bit and see how much of this wants to come out.
So, another thing I'm learning, and this is not framed as like certainly not criticism or a negative, but like this is taking longer than I thought it would. Not like, oh, what the hell is taking longer? Like, okay, this makes sense. Like, it's not it. You could put your fingernail on a scratch and assume that you got it off, but you really didn't. I'm pretty impressed with
I
like.
made myself
Oh
a
no!
mess.
Oh no!
This is mine.
Yeah. I'll buy him lunch later. All right. Yeah, hopefully this is open. Check the chat.
Right there. It's right. Things that don't-
Yeah, that's what he's mentioning. Like, he could keep training if you're not careful.
Like you can get to that
Yeah.
part.
Yeah.
Just with this little sauce. Yeah.
It takes some work to
Like,
get that deep.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
You're right here.
This looks incredible.
some of that paint has dried. I should polish that up right now, but some of that paint is dry.
Sure.
I have a smaller pool,
Oh, okay.
so I have in the past, but in very small spots.
Now, when you buff it out, do you always need to like? You wouldn't always need it to like touch up, right? Like you could just buff it out and then.
Oh, so there's
Yeah,
if you want to figure out if you can buff it out or not, run your fingernail over. If it catches at all, right, then you can't buff it out. Or you'll have to get super aggressive with it. But so like here, you'll see there's some scratches here, right? My fingernail doesn't show. Or if I spray a light mist of water and it goes away, that too also is an indicator that it can be buffed out.
And then like for the scratches that catch, is that where you can use the surface level paint if you feel like it's
And it still looks like the same color. You probably just need a little bit of clear coat. You could get touch up clear coat.
okay?
That's it. I put a bit of lighting solution there. Lightly. Just take off that extra paint. It's good.
Show me that napkin. So there is stuff coming off, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of black coming off here. It's gonna blend away. You don't want to go too aggressive or else you're gonna take out the paint that we put in. Or you want to make sure, hey, it's leveled out, it's no like bumps or anything like that. I normally don't like blending some of the smaller chips just because it's so easy to take out some of that paint. But for some of the bigger ones, you want light, smooth motions with this kit. Just
I think I got logged out. Oh. All right, let's see what happens. All right, so we starting a business. We all going into auto repair together. What do you think, Jennifer? You know, you can do our HR and hire.
It looks great. Thank you so much.
This is a massive improvement.
It is. I'm trying to find a before picture. And I wish I would have. I wish I took one before you started, but I don't remember. But
We have it on video as well. Yeah, we can probably show
Yeah, we probably.
video.
yeah,
As always, just keep in mind whenever you polish, some of these areas will look nicer than others just because we polish that area. But if you don't decide to polish anything else, over the next few weeks, months, it will just resume back to normal. It's gonna have some rock scratches, stuff like that.
Mm.
But it'll be great once I mean, look at it, it's already an improvement. That's always the goal.
yeah.
Actually.
I think this is amazing. And overall effort, that sort of thing, what would you rate this?
I normally give it about a 4, 3 or 4, right? Depending on how much time you're spending. But if you get really good at it, most of this is, to me right now, this is probably a 1.
Yeah.
Like this is stuff
Just
that
like-
I do on a weekly basis. Yeah, if I see something that bothers me, I just go ahead and fix it.
All right, good. Well, listen, there might be other people come in. We'll work on them off camera, but I think this will suffice for our live stream. This is super informative. Hopefully everybody got a chance to fill out the sign-in sheets. Jennifer, thanks for being our stand-in car. We really appreciate that. Jonathan, Juan, you guys are incredible. Great job.
Thank you guys.
Take care, everyone. Drive safe. That's the most important part. Check out the webpage for all things Car Week related. We're giving away $500 grand prizes for our car show photo contest. Still time to enter that. Voting ends at the end of Thursday. A couple more days. All right, everyone. Happy Car Week. Drive safe. I'm going to go end it here. Goodbye. How do I do this? End webinar for all.